Good morning, guys, and welcome to the worldwide headquarters of Politically Opinionated with Mike O'Hare. You know, I don't know where we're going to go with this subset of my channel with YouTube, but I think what we're going to do is kind of talk about where we are with politics and how I believe. Now, this is going to be a little bit different in comparison to what grinds my gears. Um, we're going to talk everything about politics um, and kind of the current political events. If you watched my last video of Politically Opinionated, there's no love lost with um, this president. Um, Frankly, he is not doing what is in the best interest of this country. And frankly, at this moment, he is unhinged, dangerous. I might consider, like others, mentally ill, psychopathic, and is trying to incite armed riots in rebellion in democratic states, especially in states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Virginia. I want you to picture this. Let's look at Michigan. Governor Gretchen Whitmer. They, right now, have the third worst growing epidemic of COVID-19. Third worst, and it's growing rapidly. She is doing everything she can to mitigate this rapid growing issue. So she's had to implement some stronger stay-at-home orders. And I get it. She's not coming for your guns. She's not telling you it's not going to stop you from future fishing or hunting or buying seeds and stuff. She's saying, you guys have to stay home for just a little bit longer, and you're not going to be able to do these things right now because what we have is a crisis, and it's getting deeper and worse. And our hospitals are on the verge of collapse because we can't handle this. It's getting worse because people are not heeding these warnings. Now, a lot of people in the larger cities are doing what they can. Then here comes these bright-eyed Trump-loving supporters. Oh, dear God, bless their hearts. With their, Chinese-made MAGA hats and flags and their supposed patriotism, their false hope of everything American. You know what? I'm speaking to you right now, you Trump supporters. What the fuck? Seriously. You Michigander Trump supporters. Are you all that stupid? Seriously. My hair. Sorry. Are you really that stupid? So you guys have a massive, massive outbreak. The numbers are growing leaps and bounds. So you think it's just really a good idea that you guys are going to clog the streets, prevent doctors, nurses, frontline people to be able to get out of their driveways, out of their things, into hospitals to do their jobs. And then you're going to be in mass crowds marching and protesting, carrying your MAGA flags, wearing your MAGA hats, all while most of y'all aren't wearing masks, wearing your gloves. Although some of you, wow. Oh, wow. I've been scrolling through the Facebook and the Twitter. I even saw some in the TikTok and Instagram. Wow. One, you in a little hazmat suit and your little N95 mask that really should have been at the front line because you're wearing your PPE. So I don't, with carrying a sign saying COVID-19 is a lie. So I don't know where you got the PPE with your N95 mask. So I don't know if you're maybe someone that afforded to take it from the hospital, or you were like an auto mechanic or something that was afforded that. But okay. But COVID-19 isn't a lie. It's seriously ravaging our country. Because as I make this video, I'm just going to tell you how many people have died. Because as I make this video, we have died directly right now in this country. $704,314 cases with 36,943 deaths, with a mortality rate of 5.25%. In Michigan, as of right now, you have 30,000 cases with nearly 1,000 dead. You're just about to overtake Pennsylvania in a matter of, could be minutes, seconds. I mean, I could update this and it will just automatically just be, depending on how fast your reporting comes out. But you guys are protesting because you were told that Gretchen Whitmore was coming for your guns. And she's not. There's nothing in her stay-at-home orders telling you she's coming to take your guns. She's not taking your rights. She's trying to protect you. Protect you and help stave off the total collapse of the hospital system. But yet, you guys don't get it because you're letting a con man tell you otherwise. And now we have rioting happening soon in Wisconsin. I just saw that we have rioting about to happen in Kansas, in Virginia, in states that are trying to work to save lives. All because we have a president wanting to open up an economy faster than we probably should. You know, it won't surprise me that in a matter of weeks, we are going to be in a massive, massive crash. We thought this first wave was hurting. It's going to be worse. His talking heads that have been out, you know, they don't care. The funny thing is that the people from the CDC, such as Dr. Tony Fauci, have said it's not wise to try to push this opening plan. Same with Dr. Birx. But the people at Fox News don't want to get the experts. So who do they pull out? Oh, did they pull out the experts? They got Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil. People, they are not experts. And when Dr. Oz says, you know, we can let the school kids go back, you know, it's 2%. We could, you know, 2% of the population, we could be okay with that. That type of loss we should be okay with. We should be okay with 2% of a loss. A good friend of mine posted this. He has worked on many a campaigns, from presidential to governorships to senatorialships. And I hope Troy doesn't mind that I read this, because Troy hit the nail on the head. So Troy, thank you for doing this, and I'm going to quote you. Folks, when people are saying that 2 to 3% casualty rates are acceptable if it saves the economy, they're not giving you a hard number, because the truth would scare the hell out of you. There are over 330 30 million human living in the United States, meaning they are saying the death of as many as 10 million of your fellow Americans is acceptable. So if you get to watch football, eat a good steak, and play golf, 2.9 million American soldiers have died at war in the entire history of this nation. 6 million people died in the Holocaust. That means if you take the worst genocide in history of this planet and combine it with the death of every soldier in this nation's history, there would still be 1.1 million more Americans potentially dying of a virus because you are too selfish to stay in your damn house. So if you're willing to watch millions of your fellow citizens die, you have no soul, and you need to ask if you even have a heart. My friend Troy Stevenson hit the nail on the head. 2 to 3% of my fellow Americans is not acceptable as a risk of casualty. I understand the need to open and get economic activity. I understand that. I also understand you're tired of being at home. I understand the need and the want to go play some golf, to go get your haircut. Because, I mean, come on. I'm chomping at the bit to get my haircut because mine's a little bit tough. I also understand Donald Trump and his reelection hinges on this virus magically disappearing because his ineptitude to handle this has been just a complete and utter disaster. But if you listen to the talking heads now, and you listen to the words that he's saying, or underneath the breath that he's saying, that 2 to 3%, because they're not saying the population number. They don't want to tell you that 2 to 3% of the population, which is over 230 million, because when you do the math, they don't want to tell you that they're willing to lose 10 million Americans. That's like losing the state of Oklahoma, the state of Wyoming, the state of Idaho, South Dakota, and North Dakota. I mean, the populations of a couple of states just gone. And they're fine with that. Just wipe a few states off the map. It's fine. Here in the state of Oklahoma, if we start to fully reopen, they expect a surge of 53 to 65% within the first 3 weeks. Our hospitals won't be able to take it. They've already started naming surge hospitals. And I mean, I get it. I see the post of friends and family and loved ones. They're like, dear God, this scares the shit out of me. And it should. Because our governor didn't even care at the beginning of this situation. It took the mayor of Oklahoma City, Mayor David Holt, and it took the mayor of Tulsa, Mayor G.T. Byram, to move the needle to get our freaking governor, Kevin Stitt, to even realize that there was a problem, because he did not want to do anything. He just wanted to ignore it. Ignore that there was a problem. Ignore that there was an issue. Ignore, ignore, ignore. Just like he does with vaccinations, because he does not believe in vaccinations. Or just like our Lieutenant Governor, Matt Pinnell, who is in Florida spring breaking when the outbreak was really taking off in Florida. And when he got back, had to go into quarantine. We have at the state level leaders that have not really cared. We have people in our state legislature that have. Representative Jason Dunnington, Colin Walkie, Emily Virgin, a whole list of Democratic congressmen. At the city level, we've had some amazing, amazing leadership with our mayor, with most of our city councilmen, minus mine in Ward 1. James Greer is, totally worthless, and he has been. Honestly, I don't know how he keeps getting reelected, but he puts his name on the ballot, and because it has an R, people know he's a Republican, and, that's what happens. Just like the people that are protesting because our president has told them to. Liberate. Liberate from these stay-at-home orders. People, when you look at what these state governors, state legislatures, or local mayors and city councils are doing, they're not trying to force you to stay at home for no reason. They're doing it for the health and safety of not just you, but for the citizens of the state and city and localities. If you don't know what community spread is, I don't know how you don't, because they've talked about it over and over. But let's do a little quick demonstration. Here's Mark. Mark does not realize that he has had exposure to COVID-19. Mark comes over to his girlfriend or boyfriend's house. Hey, Mark, how are you doing? I'm doing good. Mark then exposes this person. This person then now has exposure. Mark doesn't realize it because he is asymptomatic, which means not showing signs, but has the virus. Which, if we all can relate, those protesters, hey, a lot of them probably are asymptomatic. So, hey, here's all those protesters. So those protesters, here's more protesters, hey. So you know what? Those protesters are spreading to these protesters. So, COVID-19 is going to spread to those protesters, which and then they're going to spread to more protesters, which is going to make those outbreaks even more severe. It's almost like COVID-19 and natural selection is doing its job, except it's only going to collapse and make things worse for Michigan, Wisconsin, Virginia, Kansas, any other state that they are going to do these protest rallies. And we can thank some numerous people, but the one person that we really have to thank is the president, Donald J. Trump. And why? Because he incites it. People, we used to not be this dumb. We used to not be so blatantly triggered and stupid. But we have become that way. We have allowed ourselves, well, not all of us, many in the Republican Party have allowed themselves to become bought and sold and swindled and conned by a snake oil salesman to do his bidding and become foolish and sad and pathetic people willing to do anything for a cult leader. And that's the thing. Donald Trump is like a cult leader. He's not a president. If you look at the way he leads, and it's really not leading. He tells people what to do, such as go protest, go hate, go defile. What president in modern history has ever told you to go protest and liberate a state? Never. See, what he is doing is what a dictator would do. Donald Trump is trying to usurp what our Constitution and what the presidential powers and the intention of what it means to be President of the United States is. I never thought I would see the day that we would have a president do this, ever. And it's sad. People, the only way that we can have legitimate change in our processes, in our leadership, is at the ballot box. We have to use our voices to initiate the change. But are you willing to do it? Or do you want to be the person that just sits here and allows your country to fall apart in front of your eyes? George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, all of our founding fathers would cringe at the sight of what's happening to us today. They never intended this. And it's sad and it's disheartening. And I hope that you guys see this as a wake-up call. It's not anything to do with me and my beliefs. It's all about the country. I love my country. I love my country. And that's what people forget. They will tell me to leave my country when I speak out against the president or his actions. People, I will never leave my country. The United States will and always be my home. I was born here. I was raised here. I vote. I will do everything I can to protect and defend the Constitution of our beautiful and great and diverse country. And right now it's under attack. It's under attack by a president that is delegitimizing the very heart and foundation of our country. People, we've got to wake up. We have an election coming up, and we have to look at everything. I've made my decision who I'm going to vote for. My first candidate and second candidate didn't make it. But my third candidate did. And I will wholeheartedly support Joe Biden. You know, I know that Pete Buttigieg will have a place within this administration, and I know Kamala Harris will have a place, and I know that Elizabeth Warren is going to be a vital voice, just as I know Amy Klobuchar and all the other candidates are going to have a vital voice. But the Democratic nomination period is over, and we have our candidate. Joe Biden is an amazing and good and decent man that has fought hard for this country. Fought hard for women's rights, workers' rights. He's even fought for LGBT rights. He is going to fight for our rights and bring back decency and calm and restore America's place in the world. So it's time, people. It's time to replace the tyranny and the decrepit decline that Donald Trump has brought to this nation. While COVID-19 is decimating our country, and Donald Trump is telling people to rise up and liberate these places, we're going to put a stop to it. Because it's not right what he is doing. Donald, your time is coming up. We're not going to allow you to destroy our country anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of you grifting off of our country, your children grifting off our country. It's time for you to go. And I can't wait till you do, along with every one of your cabinet people who have grifted off of us as well. Our country deserves better, and we will get it.